Hi, everybody. We have talked about COVID-19 or coronavirus for 12 hours today. So I figured we need to go ahead and talk about our precautionary measures that we are taking here, that I ask of you, and that we all should be doing in this time. So, first of all, what we're doing here is we have no toys. So we are limiting any kind of exposure amongst our littles because it turns out they like to put everything in their mouth, including the chalk cup. So we won't have any chalk either. I will be cleaning down the table as often as I can throughout the day. And I will be washing my hands as often as I can in the flow, but also utilizing those essential oils that we all love to smell anyway. So those will be utilized to create a barrier between contact. So I will also be working on keeping waiting at a minimum, but that is up to you. And we'll talk about that in just a second. So of you, we ask that you wash your hands with soap and water. Do not utilize a hand sanitizer, and we'll talk about that in a minute. If you are showing any kind of symptoms or expressing any kind of symptoms that include fever, cough, sneezing, sniffles, anything, you know I love to work on you. Even when you got those mocos, you know I like to do the adjustment on your sinuses, but I'm going to have to ask that you stay home. And it's not necessarily, I'm not afraid of anything, it's everyone else. So I want to make sure that we limit exposure as best we can. So that's going to be on you and keeping yourself home, your child home, whoever is expressing any of those symptoms. But ultimately, I really, it's not for me, it's for everyone else, right? Because I could care less. I love working on you when you're expressing symptoms. That's my favorite time to work on you. Well, actually, take that back, general wellness, but you know what I'm talking about. So I want everybody to show up on time for their visit to limit group exposure because we know how chaotic it can get in that receiving area. And if we can limit the amount of people that are in there at a time, let's go ahead and do that. It's all up to you though, because if you are late and you expect the same time, even if you are late, I cannot give it to you because we have to keep things rolling. For all of us, what we're going to go ahead and do to boost our immune systems is vitamin C. You can take up to 6,000 milligrams a day. But remember, it does cause bowel disturbances. And so if you are having diarrhea, you need to scale back some. It is water soluble supplement or vitamin. And so you want to be taking it throughout the day, not just one dose. And so, one thing about vitamin C, liposomal C, is the most absorbable within the body. There are recipes that you can create at home, but try and get that if you can. Other ways in which we can increase our immune system is going to be sleep, increasing our water intake, decreasing our stress, eating a cleaner diet, which means limiting the amount of sugar you're eating. If you drink one soda, it can decrease your immune system by 24 hours, or for 24 hours, I should say. If you are walking around with a decreased immune system for 24 hours, think of all of the things you can contract. Decrease the amount of sugar you're ingesting. You can increase your vitamin D by sitting outside for 20 minutes, etc., etc. That's going to create vitamin D naturally within your body, or you supplement properly. So that means since vitamin D is a fat-soluble supplement, you will take it one time in the morning with your omegas on an empty stomach. Okay? And with vitamin K. Vitamin D3 is the form you want. Vitamin K is going to help shunt the calcium that's created within the body from vitamin D to the proper places so that ultimately you can utilize that calcium in your bones, in your teeth, not in your kidneys. All right? All right. If you have any questions on that, ask me in person. Wash your hands with soap and water. No hand sanitizer. Hand sanitizer is made of alcohol. Alcohol is antibacterial, not antiviral. Alcohol also kills the proteins on your fingers and your hands that actually create a protective barrier from bacteria and viruses. Go figure. So do not use it anymore. Keep away from large crowds. Obviously, we are having all of those events being canceled right now, so nobody's attending anything anyway. But remember that those events, those small businesses were banking on. So if you can utilize this time that most of us are working from home, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, to go to those restaurants if they're still open and functioning, to go to those small shops, to order food and have it delivered to you or whatever. Please support those small businesses in any way that you can. And also remember that our older population is who is at risk and the immunocompromised. You and I are probably not necessarily at risk, thank goodness. Our pregnant mom is not necessarily at risk per se. Most of us will be asymptomatic, but it lives within us for about 2 weeks and it lives on surfaces for about 3 days. So those are things to remember. It is very contagious. It's highly contagious, and that is where the hysteria is coming from, is the fact that it is so contagious. But it is fully resolved with vitamin C. So I hope that gives you some information that allows you to become empowered to do what you can for us as a society, us as human beings, and us as a practice. So taking responsibility and just remembering those small things will help alleviate a lot of the hysteria and allow us to move forward in the season. And it should be over within the month. But if you have any questions, please remember I'm always here for you via text, in person. Don't call me, and probably don't email me because I will not answer back. Try to, but it just gets too much here. So that's it. Have a wonderful night.